Okay, so first thing we're going to do is uh, try to understand the term market segment. So, what is a market segment and how is it different from target market? A target market is a group of consumers or businesses with shared characteristics and demographics or firmographics like age, gender, industry, income, etc. While a market segment is a group of consumers or businesses within a target market, so subset of that, with shared pain points or aspirations like we don't have enough time, limited time, too many working hours, inconsistent cash flow, low conversion rates, feeling of being overwhelmed, frustrated, or stressed out over one thing or another. So understanding your target market is essential, but knowing your market segment is truly a difference maker. So now that we've defined those two terms, we want to look at your ideal customer. So this is a customer most likely to buy your core offering. And this isn't necessarily the one customer you'll work with, but it's the one you want to make sure you never miss. So if you're like most businesses, defining your ideal customer can be challenging. However, we're not going to go through an exercise, or we're now going to go through an exercise that will help you simplify this process and provide you with more clarity around your target market and your market segment. So begin by imagining your best clients lined up in like a police lineup, if you will. So imagine the actual people and businesses you work with. Once you've got them lined up, we're going to go down the line and do some grading or scoring, if you want, on these clients. And we're going to go look for 5 characteristics in each of them and give them 1 point for each characteristic that they match. So let's take a look at that. The attributes are they understand the value of your product or service without much convincing. So these are the people that go, exactly, right off the bat. They just get it. 2, they require less time and energy than other customers to be happy. So, oftentimes in the sales process, before you ever sell them, that, oh, this customer is maybe somebody we don't want to take on. They're, you can tell they're going to be needy or whatever. So, and then number 3, they produce more profit when they buy and over their lifetime as a customer. So these are people that are going to be high value customers, whether it's, they start off small, land and expand, but they're going to be people that are going to be a high value customer and produce profit. Number 4, they refer business to you. So not only do they get it, but they want to share it with other people. And then lastly, very important to me, is you enjoy working with them. All right, so you should have them all tallied up at this point, and your lineup should look something like this. Oops. Okay, so you may find that none of your clients scored all 5 points, and that's fine. So just focus on those with the highest scores. If a large majority or all of your clients scored most or all of the points, then you're probably scoring them too easily. So you might have to go back and rescore and give points only to the clients who exemplify the characteristics above and beyond all the other clients. So, push them up by separating them from the others. You'll need to decide where to draw the line, but just be mindful that while having multiple customers to sample is great, we want to be as specific as we can with our targeting. So you don't want to include too many clients because it just muddies the water. And so here we go. We're going to start the real work of getting a better understanding of how our customers tick. So often when we begin to learn things we never considered before, when it comes to the unique needs of our customers. So, and as well as our own strengths and weaknesses. So when we take time to evaluate them in this matter, we start with the basics. So we start with firmographics, demographics, Let's see here. Here we go. So firmographics and demographics. So firmographics being industry, location, annual revenue, and so forth. Demographics being age, gender, ethnicity, occupation, etc. So while it's important to evaluate the firmographics and demographics of your ideal customer, to have a truly impactful message, you really need to understand their story. So it's behind that. This is where we can better define our market segment within our target market. So we begin by asking some of the big kind of generic subjective questions, and then we'll narrow it down from there, starting by answering the following questions. So for your customers, what are their dreams? What keeps them up at night? What things in their life are difficult or painful? How are you helping them achieve their dreams? What does their future look like with or without you? So while this part of the exercise can take a little more time for you to, go through it in a really, complete way, the answers to these questions will allow you to effectively communicate your value as it relates to the real life story behind your target audience. So ultimately, what drives their decision-making and their expectations about how you might provide them with true value and real results. But it's critical that you be clear and concise. So now we're going to work on kind of narrowing that down from the subjective things that you might have come up with in this exercise or this part of the exercise. So here are your two top performers. We're going to take a look at all the characteristics and areas where your clients have similarities and differences, and make a note of the areas where the greatest number of similarities are. So areas with the most occurrences across all of your clients are the areas you'll especially want to take note of. And so, what similarities do you see for your ideal clients pictured here, for example? Sometimes the similarities are not that obvious when you first take a look, but this exercise is kind of designed to help you eliminate just this kind of deeper understanding of the true story of your customer or your ideal customer. So now, armed with all the information gathering and experience that you've had to date with this exercise, you've got some insightful information, and we're going to take it to the next steps by refining and drafting a coherent message from all of that stuff, and then we'll deliver a value proposition. So why you? What do you offer that others don't? So how do you stand out from the others? What sets you apart from the others that they might be considering, the other solutions altogether they might be considering, if it's not the same solution? And then you're going to write this out as clearly and concisely as possible. Now let's talk about what you help your customers achieve. By working with you, what will your customers achieve? This list could be, fairly easy. It could be a long list, and it's going to be probably riddled with words like growth, maximize, enhance, and all those wonderful words. So make a list of answers to this question. And now the opposite side. Now let's talk about what you help your customers avoid. This one can be a little harder because most of us are inundated with, achieve, towards language, like, future pluses. While it has its place, it's not really what drives change the most, and it's not what drives the decision-making process in your prospects. So go ahead and make a list of those answers as well. What do you help your customers avoid? So buying decisions, here we go. 80% avoid, 20% achieve. Whoop. While you work on this value proposition write-up, it's helpful to understand this fact. People make buying decisions emotionally, and then we justify them with logic. So buying a product or service will either help us achieve something, or it helps us avoid a pain or a problem that we're sick of dealing with. Across the board, studies show that our buying decisions are most heavily influenced by avoid messaging and logic. for us, knowing this is about creating more velocity through the customer journey from end to end. So, but at its heart, it's all about connecting more deeply with your customers, feeling their pain, understanding their backstory. Now, here's an easy, out framework, I guess, to draft your message. You're just going to write it out, simple draft of your message, use the structure shown here and as a starting point. Remember, it's important to be concise and, keep it simple. So the old KISS method. Boil down the most significant and relevant pieces of the information as you incorporate your message into a sales and marketing message. And this is just your first draft, so don't agonize over it too much. Don't let it keep you up at night. In fact, it might be downright ugly at first. So the most important thing is really that you've started and that you understand the source of it and that you can continue to always be doing better and better at this and ask other people for, to take a look at it perhaps, which is what I did. But the most important thing, again, is that you've started it and you continue to always be doing this work to better understand who you serve best and how you communicate most effectively to that particular subgroup of your target market. Nope, skip that one. Now I do have a free worksheet that I can send you. So if you'd like a copy of the actual worksheet, feel free to drop me an email at info@exposuresas with the subject line market segment worksheet, and I will get that right out to you. And if anybody wants to have a one-on-one conversation, feel free to book some time on my calendar as well. Thank you very much, and I hope to talk to you all soon.